Kevin. All right, everybody. It is Sunday. It is time. It is All Things Fantasy Grounds Talk Show. It is time for Rob to learn how to put on the. Oh, there we go. We are here for Sunday night, and this is show 47. Tonight's show is going to be about how to build a proper NPC in Fantasy Grounds. I am here.
Hello,
with...
motherfucker.
Well, I think you figured it out, Fury, because I heard, hello, motherfucker. So maybe it didn't come through unless it was on. I don't know how it works, but you did it.
Okay, so I figured it out. So on the sound alerts thing on the bottom of the stream, you have to click on it. You have to grant access, and then it allows it.
Okay.
So now people can interrupt your stream with what are the options here? What do we got? RIP, applause, hello, motherfucker, and ha, got them.
And you have to pay for that, right?
That's 500 bits per soundbite.
Yeah, good. Wow. I don't want that to be free. Fucking what a nightmare. All right. So thanks for hello, motherfucker. And then since you did that, let's start with Fury. How are you today, ma'am?
Pretty good. I'm here with you. We're going to learn something interesting, semi-interesting for anybody who likes to build NPCs.
That's right. And Mr. Leroon, how are you, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cheerbits.
Lady Shell. Oh, Lady Shell's back at it. She wants Bit Boss bad. She's trying to take down Drake. All right. Well, let's get into it. So last week we did how to build a proper druid, and that's a very specific thing. And so this week we are going to talk about how to build a proper NPC. And there's a couple ways to do it, but the most common way will be to do it directly in Fantasy Grounds. So we're just going to come here to our Fantasy Grounds. We're going to open NPCs. We're going to click a new one. And there it is. And we will start. So we'll just name it proper NPC. And then we're going to go right down the way. Now, there's a couple newer things in Fantasy Grounds that haven't always been there. One of those is non-ID name. And what this is used for is if you want to click the ID button here and make it red, then when you put a monster in the combat tracker, you can rename it so that the players actually don't know what it is. And I'll show you an example of that. And here, let's clear out all the stuff we got in here. We had some things in there from last week. So the name of it is proper NPC, but if we put in the combat tracker, the players will see it as gross slimy thing. And then you can identify it and it'll change the name to whatever the name is. So that's a way that you can have players, you can role play a little bit of putting monsters in the combat tracker and only showing the picture. And then the players have to kind of guess what it is, or maybe they don't know what it is if it's a new monster, but you're not going to actually show them the name of it. So that's one thing.
So like from Friday's game where you pulled out that little black pudding, I'm like, oh, it's a black pudding, and it says black pudding. You're like, no, you don't know what that is.
Right, and I changed the name of it. I changed the name of it to the fuck, and then, like with a question mark, and then, but you guys all knew what it was. And then yeah, experienced players are going to see a picture, and if they've read the monster manual or any of these other monster sources, they might know what it is. But especially for newer players, or if you want to get more immersed in the game, there is a thing that allows you to change the name. So size, you can obviously put in whatever size D&D allows. So tiny, small, medium, large, huge, or gargantuan. Those are your choices. Type would be Cheerbits. Thank you, Lady Shell. Cheerbits. Type would be like beast, aberration, undead, so on and so forth. There's many different types. So we'll just use undead for this one because we're just making it up. Alignment, of course, there's the 9 different alignments. We'll just put neutral because we don't know what the hell we're doing. Neutral evil though, because we're making a monster. So armor class, you just type in what the armor class is, and then your option over here is to say something about the armor. So maybe if it's a guard, they have plate mail. Maybe if it's an undead, They don't have any armor, but we'll say in our case natural armor. But whatever you type there doesn't really have any, it's just words if you know how to spell, and it doesn't have any effect on anything. It's just sort of a note. Hit points, again, you're making it up, so we'll say 20, and we're gonna say that's
Cheerbits. Cheerbits in the stream. Thanks for the cheerbits.
Feared Fate, cheerbits. Thank you to Feared Fate, cheerbits. Co-host, cheerbits, Bitboss. We're going to say 2d8 plus. Now, you don't have to know how to do the formulas, but if you're making a monster, it is good to know the formulas. So the way the formulas work in D&D 5e is whatever the dice is, you take half of that and add 0.5. So for a D4, it's 2.5. For a D8, it's 4.5. For a D20, it's 10.5. That's just how it works. So 2 times 4.5 is 9. So 20 hit points would be 2d8 plus 11. So basically what you're saying is 9 plus 11 is 20. So now it'll give 20 hit points if you have it set to use the standard hit points, or it'll roll that, either way you do it. So speed, of course, you just type in, you have to use feet as a FT period. You don't type out the word feet. And then if you have different types, you just use a comma. So 30 feet is the walking speed. You don't put walking. If it has another special speed, you put swim 30 feet, and our undead creature, whatever it is, can and then you have to put a comma. I forgot the comma. And actually, if you miss the comma, it doesn't really affect anything, because this is just words. So fly 60 feet, and then we'll put it can also hover. So and if you're not sure how to do the format, the best thing to do, and we're going to do this in a minute, the best thing to do is open an example monster from the monster manual and just look to see how another monster has it, and then just add it in. So really easy here. When you're making your NPC, you can put the stats in, and all you have to do is type the numbers. If you press tab, it'll go between these fields. I'm going to leave 10 in con and int, and make these others, and it'll put the modifiers +3, +2. It'll just do that for you. All you have to do is type in these numbers here. Now saving throws, now it starts to get into things that have to be specifically typed a certain way. So let's open up an example monster. This is the Lich, and let's go see what the saving throws look like. Yeah, so saving throws are the 3-letter abbreviation for the ability score, and it must be capitalized. So we're going to say the saving throw for our undead is going to be Wiz +1. That's just what we're going to say. And if you put more, you can, I guess we'll do a comma, con -1. And we're just jacking around. We're just making stuff up. So don't anybody look at that and go, oh, Rob, your numbers don't match, whatever. We're just doing an example. So skills, same thing, must be capitalized, must be the entire word. So stealth +2, comma, arcana. This undead creature has arcana +1. So again, you just type them in. Remember, saving throws are the 3-letter abbreviation capitalized. The skills are the entire word capitalized. And you do want a comma, not a, you see how that whole thing highlighted because I have a period, not a comma. So if I put the comma in there, then they'll highlight individually like that, and you can roll them by highlighting them. Damage vulnerabilities. This is whatever it's vulnerable to, and you want to type these in the entire word small. So like we would say cold and fire. It's vulnerable to both cold and fire. And you do this the same way with vulnerabilities, resistances, immunities, and condition immunities. So we'll just make up random ones. Resistances, bludgeoning. You see this a lot. Bludgeoning, slashing, piercing. From non... Oh, it's even over here in the Lich. From non-magical attacks. So you see that a lot. So if this guy gets hit with bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing, it'll resist it. unless it's magic, then it'll take the full damage. Damage immunities, let's say it's immune to psychic. So again, small letters. And condition immunities, let's just say charmed and poisoned. So all these four things, vulnerabilities, resistances, immunities, and condition immunities, damage and conditions, those are all full words, and they're all small capitals and commas separating them. Senses, almost any NPC will have a passive perception of some number, and then if there's a special thing like dark vision or blind sight or true sight or anything like that. So let's just say this one has dark vision, 60 feet, comma, passive perception 11. And again, as you're going through these monster blocks and you're making these monsters, if you're stuck on the formatting or you don't know how to do it, just open up some different one in the monster manual and get an example of what it says. And then languages, maybe it speaks like the Lich speaks common plus up to 5 other languages. Sometimes you see, languages it knew in life. It understands languages you can knew in life, but is not able to speak. Or sometimes you might just put common, comma, goblin. And in our case, the example will be, it doesn't have languages, so you just put a dash. You just put one little minus sign in there, and that's it. Now, I've done enough so far. Is there any questions anybody has?
I have one, but I don't see any in the chat yet.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Just a quick question about the saving throws. Now, do those come off of your stats, or is that from a special ability, or both?
Well, you mean you're talking about doing a check or a save?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you put the ability scores in there, 16, 14, 10, 10, 8, 6, the C is a the C is a check and the S is a save, so you can just click on it and it'll roll it. So that's a valid question, but I want to be clear here. We're showing people how to build a PC, not how to use a PC. Okay. So that wouldn't be something you'd concern yourself with while you're building it. That if you're going to use it in a game, you'd want to know how to do it, but that's a whole different show.
Okay.
There's a quick question from chat. Drake PDS, does non-magical need to be one word, or is 2 words, or does it not?
It needs to be one word, so good catch. And if you were testing that and I had it as 2 words, that would not have worked. And so you need to make sure, if you're not too sure, you go and you look at other examples. So yeah, non-magical is 1 word. And okay, so here's a thing that some people make a mistake about. This does not calculate your XP or your CR for you. So if you put XP here or if you put CR here, it will not automatically calculate. You have to know what those are. So we're going to say ours is a CR3 700. There is a table in the Monster Manual, and I believe in the Dungeon Master's Guide, if you don't know what those are. And again, another way to do it is go to the NPC, go to the library, go to the Monster Manuals, go to NPCs, look up by challenge rating, and go, mine's a CR3, so let's find CR3s, and just open up any CR3 and go, oh, a CR3 is 700. And you can double check yourself. But if you're making a lot of NPCs, you'll get to know that. You'll just know what they are for the first few 5 or 10. All right, now I apologize to everybody. Extra features is not something that normally is in a stat block. There's a special extension installed in Fantasy Grounds that has that. I did not realize I had that extension installed, and so I apologize to everyone. Pretend that is not there. That is a completely different show. That's a whole nother thing. All right, so traits. You click on the edit list and you want to add a trait. Our trait will be what? Undead Fortitude. So you name it, and you want to try to keep consistent with formatting. So when you name a trait, you want to do it every word capitalized like this, and then in the trait body itself is where you explain it. And forgive me for not knowing how this goes, because I'm just going to make it up. When the NPC goes to 0 hit points, it's not dead. Whatever that says. We're not going to cover. We're not going to so much spend time on going over what the exact wording of these things are, because in order for Fantasy Grounds to properly parse everything that you have on the NPC, like watch what happens if I go down, you'll see things highlight here. Maybe not so much until I get to actions, like the 2 hit, what the damage is, the Constitution saving throw, paralyzed for a minute. So all of these things that show up in the combat tracker. Now watch what happens when I'll show you what I'm talking about. So all those things I just talked about that were highlighted were in its actions. So what was that action? It was the paralyzing touch. So here they are. This highlight plus 12 to hit is the same as this. This 3d6 cold damage is the same as this. This Constitution saving throw right over here is this Constitution saving throw. So all of those things, in order for them to work, highlight in the stat block and also be properly formatted in the combat tracker, they all have to be worded specifically and correctly. And the only way to teach yourself how that goes is just to look at examples and follow other examples. So the very first time I was making PCs or NPCs, just making shit up, I didn't know how to word it, and so I would type in here what I thought was best, and then it would go to the combat tracker and it wouldn't work, and I'm like, why doesn't it work? And that's kind of one of my little steps onto the coding of the spells and the feats and everything is, and I just made it my business to learn how these things are all worded. And what Fantasy Grounds is set up to do in 5e is it expects to read things that the way they're written by WotC in the Monster Manual and in the Player's Handbook and in the Dungeon Master's Guide and in anything that they publish. Things are written a certain way. So target must succeed on a DC Constitution saving throw. It can't say save. It can't say must succeed on a save DC 18. It can't be. It's got to be properly formatted, the exact way that they have it. And if you ever make something that's your own homebrew thing, or you're just making things that are your own creations and it doesn't work, the thing to do is go open up some other stat block that has something similar in it and just check to see the way it's written and make sure yours is the same. Any other questions so far? All right, I'll assume not. So you do basically this. Oh, go ahead.
Is there a way to make an NPC with 0 hit points, then adjust it once it's in the combat tracker? So, for instance, a zombie can look dead, then it will animate.
Yes. So you would give the zombie 0 hit points, which this well, we're not saying it's a zombie, but yeah. So our example here is it has 0 hit points, and let's actually do something there. So it rolled 20 hit points for it, and so let's just say that it's wounded 20. So basically, you would, and by the way, there's another extension in that when when it's wounded, it changes to that. So the players would see this as wounded. So basically what you'd have to do is put the monster in the combat tracker, wound it to the same amount of hit points it has, and then it'll appear that it's dead. And then when things start up, just go over here to wounds and make it a 0, and then it'll be back to, yeah, so that's one way you can do that. That seems like a lot of trouble. What I would do if I were DMing and I wanted that to happen is I would just turn that NPC invisible and not have it be there. But I think maybe the person that asking the question is they want to fool their they want to fool their players into, oh, there's a dead body there, and then, oh, look, it's unconscious or whatever. I don't know. I'm only making gross assumptions with what that person was asking, but that's the answer to the question.
Okay.
All right, so action, same thing. You want to put in an action. Let's call this one fist. And you can type this out to meet what you want, but what I like to do is I just like to go find somebody that has a melee weapon and copy it. Let's see what else we got here. We have, yeah, here's a bite and a claw. So I would just copy these and so yeah, guess what I have to do? I did not copy these to be able to open them and edit them. So if you have the monster manual, you're obviously not going to be able to open and edit anything. You have to make a copy of it. So let's make a copy of all three of these, as a matter of fact. There's the Lich. There's the adult blue Dracolich. What was this one? Oh, the genie. Okay, so let me go to my copies. So now here's my copies. Let me close all these other ones up here. So I have my copy of the adult blue Dracolich, the genie, and the Lich. I can move these all up here like this. And you see now I can open these records and manipulate them. So let's just go get let's use this bite attack. I'm just going to copy that whole thing, move it over to my fist, and then change it to what I want. So plus 13, probably no. Probably plus 3 for this guy. Plus 3 to hit, reach 5 feet. We'll say it does 6 points of damage. And we'll use D4s. So remember, the formula, if you're using D4, half of that is 2, so 2.5 times 2 is 5. I'm saying it's 6 points, so 6 minus 5 is 1, so 2d4 plus 1. And if I'm going too fast and you're like, what the hell did he just do with that formula? Go back and watch the video a couple times, because it's just how it works, and we'll leave that. Piercing damage plus 5d10 or 1d10 lightning damage. And remember, if you're doing 2 different types of damage types, you have to put the plus symbol. You don't put the word plus. And I've said it already a couple times, and I'll probably say it a few more times throughout the course of tonight's show. But if you do not know how these things are formatted, just go look at another example and kind of copy it. So basically all I did was I copied that bite attack in here, kind of changed it around, and now that's the fist attack. Very good. Reactions, same thing. You put in a reaction. Let's call this one step off mofo. That's the reaction. And we would just say if the NPC is hit with a melee attack, it can step away 5 feet, not provoking an opportunity attack. And again, I'm just making this shit up. I'm just doing it for the purposes of our show tonight. That's kind of a cool power, though. I like it. Step off mofo. All right, so now we've got everything from traits, we've got actions, we've got reactions, and of course, if you want to put multiple in there, if he's got fist and claw and bite, you just click the plus and add each one in. But we're just going to leave ours with one attack. Same thing. You got 3 reactions. Type plus plus, put them in, but for us, we're just going to do one example. Now, if I close this, you'll see that it looks like a normal stat block. There's everything. It all highlights. Very good. So, now, legendary actions and lair actions and spells are not things everybody has, but some people does. So for our show, we obviously want to show people how to do that. So legendary actions, let's make one of those. And let's one of these guys here. This guy's usually there is an options clause and then the legendary action. So like for example, this one says the Dracolich can take 3 legendary actions choosing from the options below. Only one legendary action option can be used at a time, and only at the end of another creature's turn. The Dracolich regains spent legendary actions at the start of a turn. That's usually with a few minor exceptions. Maybe it's only 2, or sometimes it might be 4, or whatever. But usually that statement is pretty close to being the same thing in almost every stat block of something that has legendary actions. So we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to copy it. Options. And I'll put it in here. And of course, obviously, we'll say that we're only going to give it 1 legendary action. And obviously this is not called the Dracolich, so we need to change the name. This is not a Dracolich, but this is, the name of it is proper NPC, so we'll say proper NPC. The proper NPC can take 1 legendary action, choosing from the option below. Only 1 legendary option can be used at a time. Now it might not make sense, since there's only 1. It might not make sense to even say that. So you could erase that. It's your choice as to how you want to word it. Because this doesn't really have any effect on stats or even put in the combat tracker. It's nothing that you click on. It's just information for the DM to know how to run the monster. And again, it wouldn't say Dracolich. It would say the proper NPC. Regain spent legendary actions at the start of turn. Okay, so now the Dracolich has these 3. It has detect, it has tail attack, and it has wing attack. So let's add the action. Let's say that our undead creature has, you know, whatever, boogeyman look. I'm just making it up. And then the proper NPC can stare at a creature within 30 feet and cause him to be frightened. No saving throw, it just happens. Bam. That's awesome. All right. Lair action, same thing. You would open this up and you would just put in whatever the lair actions are. So let's look really quick at somebody who has lair actions, which is one of these. It's probably the Lich. And see what it says. So lair actions for the Lich is on initiative count 20, losing initiative ties, the Lich can take a lair action to cause one of the following magical effects. The Lich can't use the same effect 2 rounds in a row. So again, you would put options, and then you would just put whatever you want here that similarly tells the DM how to run the monster. So in the Lich's case, I kind of like that, but I'm going to make a little change to it. I'm actually going to copy that in. You know, just Control A to highlight it, Control C to copy it, Control V, just like any Windows command. On initiative count 20, losing initiative ties, the proper NPC can take a lair action to cause one of the following. Maybe it's not magical. Maybe it's just an effect. And I'm going to take out the part. Oh, I'm going to say to cause, can take a lair action to cause the following effect. I'm not going to say one of the following effects. I'm just going to say the following effect. And why? Because I'm only going to give it 1. And then I'll take out the part that says it can't use the same, because there's only going to be 1. So again, you can make this all up the way you want it. It's your monster and it's your game and it's your decision. So I'm going to put this action, and I'm going to say spell recovery because I like that from the Lich. and the Lich has it, and we're going to give our guy spells anyway, so let's copy that in. The Lich rolls a d8 and regains a spell slot of that level or lower. If it has no spent spell slots at that level or lower, nothing happens. Okay, so we're going to do something similar. We're going to say the proper NPC rolls a d4 and regains a spell slot of that level or lower. As a matter of fact, let's say d2, because we're only going to give our guy first, second spells and that. Okay, any questions at this point?
I don't see anything. A lot of people are interacting with the chat bot right now.
All right, cool. And this will be a good one to go back and watch. If you miss anything, you can go back and we'll have this video on YouTube. So now the last two things are innate spells and spells. Now oddly, you don't put anything there. It seems weird because you don't open this up and then click thing and then put a spell there. You can do that, but there's a more automated process that allows you to basically get that stuff filled in for you. So let's go back up here to traits. So in traits, I'm going to put in two things. The first one is going to be called spell casting. And the second one is going to be called innate spellcasting. Now, normally a creature would have one or the other. They wouldn't necessarily have both. And they are different. So we will go through how they are different by getting some examples here. So let's just take a look at this. Let's just bring this over so we can look at it without being distracted by what we're making. So spellcasting, the Lich is an 18th level. Damn. 18th level spellcaster. Its spellcasting ability is intelligence. The Lich has the following wizard spells prepared. And then here's the list of them. Now the way you do this is you have to format it exactly like it is. So you have to put that sentence, and you have to put the proper, if it's not intelligence, if it's wisdom or charisma, you have to put it there. The Lich has the following, cleric spells, druid spells, wizard spells, whatever it is. So you put cantrips, parentheses, at will, parentheses, colon, and then you list the spells. Same thing, first level, how many slots, second level, how many slots, and so on. So we're just going to copy a little bit of this, and we are going to use it. We're going to steal it and put it over here and then change it to our liking. So again, this isn't a Lich, it's a proper NPC. And we'll say he's a, like a 4th level spellcaster. Whatever it is that allows him to have 1st and 2nd level slots. His spellcasting ability is, I don't know, we'll call it wisdom. So you see that it is small. The word is small, no capitalization. And he has the following. It's actually not important that you put the class, so I'm just going to say spells. But it's just better for the DM if the DM knows, oh, those are cleric spells or druid spells or wizard spells, or maybe they're from all different classes. Now, I could go through and change these, but for the purposes of our example, I'll just leave them. But, we could go through here and put different cantrips and different 1st level spells and different 2nd level spells. And we could change the number of slots, but I'm just going to leave everything as is. And the important thing to remember about the spells is that you have to put the word cantrips capitalized, a space, parenthetical, at, space, will, parenthetical, colon, space, and then list all the spells separated by commas, and they must be not capitalized. So you see just exactly how the format is. And once again, the phrase or the sentence, if you don't know, if you can't remember the formatting, just go look at the example of another thing. Now I see that MILF's acid arrow is capitalized here. I'll be interested to see if that works. Maybe that'll work. Maybe it won't. But I try to be consistent because you just run into less trouble if you do it that way. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and make the innate. Let's show you how this works first. Okay, so we're going to leave innate spellcasting alone for a minute. So now I've typed all those spells in there, and I believe do I have the player's handbook open? Yes, I do. So down here, you notice at the end of our stat block, there's no spells listed there. But watch what happens when I close the stat block, and then I'm going to go find it and reopen it. So there it is, proper NPC. Now we're going to scroll all the way down, and you will see that when we get down to spells, it's got the levels. It's got 4 first level slots, 3 second level slots, and here's all the spells. There's Mage Hand, there's Prestidigitation, there's Ray of Frost, there's Detect Magic. It put it all in there for you automatically. Now that is very powerful and very awesome. And as long as you don't spell anything wrong, and there's Melf's Acid Arrow, so it is there. So that capitalization thing didn't screw it up. So I guess it doesn't need to be small letters, but I just like to try to keep everything consistent. And of course, the way I do it is I look to see, like, I open the player's handbook, or I open the whatever book I'm looking at, and I see how did Wizards of the Coast do it, and then I try to do it the same way.
Hey,
So
Robbie,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry to interrupt you, but tell the people what you use for wording to help you out if you don't have the player's handbook. The online D&D Beyond for wording and stuff?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people don't have D&D Beyond, but
Right.
you can, if you have D&D Beyond, you can go look stuff up there too. Yeah, I would not have used that as a tip myself. I would not have said that. Because it is an alternative, but if you don't have the player's handbook, then you're not going to be building spells anyway unless you're actually typing them out. So this does assume that you have the player's handbook to be able to draw from, or the SRD. The SRD will work perfectly fine. And Fantasy Grounds will try to pull from whatever you have in your library. So if you don't have the player's handbook, it'll try to pull from the SRD, but it'll try to go, with the most valuable source first. Now, let's do innate spellcasting, which is different. So we're going to come down to, where did we have it? Here it is, innate spellcasting. We just have it blank. So now I'm going to go find innate spellcasting, and I'm going to put that in there. And the difference between the two is regular spellcasting has how many slots you have and what the levels are, and innate spellcasting, and you guys, if you've looked at any number of NPCs in Fantasy Grounds, or even in the Monster Manual or wherever, you've noticed this. Some have slots and some have so many times per day. So let's just use what they have. We don't want to waste time changing it, so we're just going to use it, but I'll explain how this works. So the proper NPC, comma S, or not comma, what's that called? Apostrophe, thank you. Innate spellcasting ability is Charisma. It can innately cast the following spells requiring no material components. So this is different. So up here it's cantrips, parenthetical, at will, parenthetical. Down here it's just at will, colon, and then the spells. Instead of saying first level, third level, whatever, you say how many per day for these spells, how many day for these spells. So you can do, I believe you can do anywhere from 1 to 5 times a day. You might be able to do more than 5 times a day, but I've never seen a list that has anything higher than 5. So you put the spells in there the same way you did before. Now, if I close this stat block and I reopen it, I'm going to guess and say that those spells do not go in there. And we're going to explain why that is. So let's look at the innate spells. What was one of those spells? Detect evil and good. Let's go down to the spells and see if that's in there. Yeah, actually, innate spells. There's no spells in there. Now, here's why that is. Fantasy Grounds has got a very weird thing where if you're making an NPC and you put the spells in, but there's no spells down here, and you close it and reopen it, it populates the spells. However, if you add anything or make any changes like we did, it is not going to do that. And the reason is it says, oh, there's already spells here, I don't need to do anything. So each time you make an addition to your spell list, or like we did, change something by adding innate spells on top of the regular spells, you literally have to come to the spells, open them up, and delete every single one of them that's in there. You have to just keep deleting and deleting and deleting. Okay, so there's no innate spells and no spells. Now, if I close this and reopen it, we should have all of them. So I'm going to come down here, and here's the innate spells: detect evil, good, detect magic, right? All the innate spells that we had in our list. And then when we get down to regular spells, they should be there as well. I'm looking for the header. There it is. And here's the spells and the slots, and then all the spells are there. So everything's there now. So you can have, it's very, very rare that you would have an NPC that has both spellcasting and innate spellcasting. But if you do, there you go. And just remember, if you run into, hey, and now if I go here, oh, I made a mistake. I'm going to take out Ray of Frost. I'm going to just take it out. I'm going to close it and reopen it. Now, I bet if we go down, Ray of Frost is probably still in there. Let's just see. Yeah, see, Ray of Frost is still listed there. So like I said, if you make a change or an addition, or in our case, a subtraction, if you want to properly fix that, you have to go to all of your spells, whether it's innate spells or just spell casting, and you have to erase all of those spells and then close the stat block and reopen it. And once again, just to double explain why that's happening, when you open a stat block, it searches through these spells that are listed here and puts them in there. But if there's even one spell down there, it stops and goes, oh, it already has spells, I don't need to check that. So just remember that if you're having a problem or something's not populated, or you're like, wait, I've got all these spells in here, but one's missing, just go down here and erase them all, close it, open it again, and all your spells will be there. There they all are. So there you go. And believe it or not, that I can think of everything you need to know.
Cheerbits in the stream. Thanks for the
Cheerbits, Hee-Haub. That is everything you need to know to build a proper NPC. And as you'll see in the combat tracker, here is everything we built: Undead Fortitude, spellcasting, innate spellcasting. There's the fist attack. There's the step of Mofo for the reaction. There's the legendary actions. There's the lair actions. Here's the innate spells that are all there. And here's the regular spells. So everything's there, and it's all, and all the vulnerabilities, the resistances, the immunities to conditions and to damage types. Excuse me. So everything's there, guys, and it's all done. Any questions on that?
There is a comment.
Is it about how awesome we are?
I wish. Basically, someone was commenting, Valerian Gamer said it's rare for NPCs to have both spellcasting and innate spells, except for like Drow. Things like
yeah, and I mentioned that a couple times. Yeah, and that's true. So, but it is possible. So we wanted to show that you could add those in. Now that is, and then of course you would on the back page you would do any cheerbits, lady shell, cheerbits. You would do any descriptions you want. Like, hey, my monster is awesome, and you could put a token in the NPC. Whatever token you thought you wanted. Those look weird. What the hell? I don't know. We're just going to put a U token for undead. And then, maybe you also have a picture that you want to use. And this is not a good picture to use, but we're going to use it. So you put it in there and say image proper NPC, whatever your picture would be. And then we use the stupid whatever those bowls are, but we're just making an example. So there you go. And then you could type paragraphs upon paragraphs of everything, put your tables back there, whatever you want to do. So that is how to make one inside of Fantasy Grounds, which is more than likely the way you would do it. We do have one more method that we will talk about. But before,
there is a quick question.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Diablo Bob wanted to ask, how do you calculate the CR for the NPCs you make?
So that's a whole nother subject. And there's much debate about that. But there is a section in the Monster Manual and another section in the DMG that describes how to do that. I am not an expert on that, and so I don't have a good answer other than to say that WotC has given their opinion on how to do that. But there's many schools of debate regarding that, and you can go to countless forums and look to see how people argue about, no, you got to do it this way. No, here's the way you do it. So there's no hard, fast answer for that question. But the information is out there for you to help yourself to learn to do it the way you want to do it.
There's online calculators out there too.
And there's calculators, but CR levels, well, XP and CR are directly related, so that's not hard. Whatever the CR is, that there's a specific XP for that. But what CR level do you make your monster? That depends on the armor class, it depends on the hit points, it depends on how powerful it is, it depends on what its defenses are, does it have attacks, does it have legendary actions, is it a spell cat? I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. So there's no really good way to answer that question. You just kind of have to get a feel for how powerful is your monster compared to other monsters of that CR level, and maybe bump it up or bump it down. But you got to kind of just make that decision on your own. That's the great thing about making monsters, is that's totally up to you. And you can't, it's like being a stand-up comedian. You can get on stage and do your jokes, and there will be two people who come up to you after the show to complain. You can't please everybody. So whatever CR level you choose for your monster, you just have to stand by your guns, and that's what it is. And if somebody argues with you about your CR level that you chose for your monster, you say to them one simple thing: hey, go make your own fucking monster. Shut the fuck up. That's the answer. That's my answer. So, any other questions on the stat block about building in Fantasy Grounds?
Don't see any.
All right. So, we have a different method that you can use. We've done a show about this, actually. If you go back in the YouTubes, we did a show with Mask about what at that time was called NPC Engineer, which the name has now been changed to Engineer Suite. Hey, by the way, guys, we are going to give away a prize tonight, so don't leave. Stand by. So this is the website. It's masq.net, mask.net, and you can go here, and this is free, and it's called Engineer Suite, and you can download it on, I think, Windows only. I don't know that it's for Mac. I think it's just Windows. Mask has got a Patreon page. He's got a PayPal. I've given him a lot of money because I really support this effort. It's free. You don't have to give him money, but I do, because I built both Monsters of the Guild, and I used this to build Creature Codex. So I've really gotten a lot of use out of this, and I'll show it to you guys. So he used to just have NPC Engineer. That's all he had. Now he's got NPC Engineer. He's got Spell Engineer. He's got the Project Engineer, which is putting it all together. He's got Equipment Engineer and Artifact Engineer as well. An artifact would really be magic items. And then Reference Manual Engineer. Now, several portions of this are not done, but what is done is NPC Engineer. So let's open that up. So, much the same way we did, let me clear this out. Much the same way we did in Fantasy Grounds, you can build your NPCs step by step by filling in the information. And he's even got drop-down menus for stuff. You can get check boxes, size. He's got all the sizes in there. You pick one. Type. Is it an aberration, beast, celestial, construct, dragon? He's got it basically all. It's really automated. You can just build a tag. You can put, whatever the race is. Your alignments are all there. So you can pick an alignment, lawful evil. Armor class you can type in. Hit points. You can even type in the hit points and do the mean or the rolling of it. And I forget there's a way to do that, and I'm screwing it up. So that's not working the right way that I want it to work. So click on this to calculate and apply the average. Whoa, that went away. The average hit points for range. This is a value stated in the official product's NPC hit points. Yeah, so guys, I don't know how to use that. I never used it, but it's cool, and learn how to use it. Speeds, hover, you put it all in. It goes on and on. If you put the attribute scores, it calculates the thing for you. You can put the saving throws, challenge rating. If you pick the challenge rating, it does the XP for you. It's all really automated. You can put the token in there. Now you can go to these different tabs. You can say what the damage vulnerabilities are, what the resistances are, what the immunities are. And I'm going through this fast intentionally. We did an entire show on this. So if you want to see how to use this specifically, you can go watch that show. But just to tell you that this is another way to build the NPCs, and it's got everything you can think of. The traits are there. You can add traits. Innate casting. It's got regular spell casting. Actions are there, so you can put your attacks in. Also reactions, legendary actions, lair actions. It's all there. You can put the description, which is what goes on the last page, and then you can put an image. Now let me load an NPC that's sort of complete, and you can kind of see. So here is the Black Agatha Mudwallow. You can see it's got all the spell casting and everything. The stat block is there. This is what the back page would look like. This even adds on the back page of the stat block the spell list, and then you can click a button. It puts it all into a Fantasy Grounds mod, and then you go open it up in Fantasy Grounds, and all the NPCs that you have will be there. And you can add, 200 NPCs to one project or whatever it is. So again, not a class on how to use this, just making everybody aware that this is available for free from Mask, and his website is masq.net, which I will put in the chat right now. So yeah, you guys can click on that and bookmark it and download NPC Engineer for free and use that if that's how you want to build NPCs as well. He also has a Discord, and he's very good about helping people, and he's very approachable if you have questions and so forth. So that is another way that you can build a proper NPC in Fantasy Grounds. So now I know that we wanted to show a couple of links for videos that have covered this as well. So Leroon went out and got the URLs for these videos. So I'm going to post 3 links in the chat. And these are YouTube videos. Are all 3 of them done by Doug?
Yeah.
Okay, so Doug Davison, the president and co-founder of Smiteworks, has done these 3 videos. And these cover in some manner exactly what we just went over during the show. So there's a generic video, there's one on spell casting, and then there's another one on the spell casting lookup feature. And Leroon, do you want to explain a little bit about what the spell lookup feature is?
Sure. We kind of just went over that with the session that we just showed you guys, but basically, to reiterate what Rob just showed us, is that whenever you make a change or you want to build your own spell list from scratch, each spellcaster has their own spellcasting statement. So what I would do is take and make those spellcasting statements ahead of time and just add or take away whatever spells that you want. But you copy and paste those into the NPC spellcasting area, and mind you, you still have to take away all the spells that were there before. Or if you're building a new PC, or NPC, you have to add that statement. So that video goes over that process, And I recommend you watch that thing about 5 times until you get it, because it plagued me for a long time.
Yeah, and anymore now, between Digital Dave and Doug and me and Fantasy Grounds College personnel, there's a video for anything you could possibly want. I mean, it's on YouTube. If you can't find it, you just have to look, because I mean, people have done, and there's probably 3 different versions of everything you want to learn. And we've covered a lot on this show. This is our 47th show. We've done a lot of subjects like this. But you know, anything that you want to learn about Fantasy Grounds, you can find a video about it. If you can't find a video about it, you need to email us or PM us in Discord and let us know, and we'll do a show about it. So let's give away some prizes. I'm going to give away 2 prizes tonight that are sort of theme related. This is a good idea brought to me by Liveroon. He said, let's give away NPC stuff. So there's something on the DM's Guild called the Versatile NPCs 2, made by Darren Scott. And this is the Fantasy Grounds version of it. And this is NPCs that are sort of humanoid people that you would use in your stories that are villains or perhaps extra members of a party, or, you know, stuff like that that you would role play and use that way. And then the other one is, of course, Monsters of the Guild. And this is obviously more monster NPCs, stuff that your party would fight or this or that. So we're going to give away a copy of each of those, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to run 2 drawings back to back in the bot. But I would ask that we want to have 2 winners. So if you want the Versatile NPCs, only enter that one. But if you want the Monsters of the Guild, then just enter that one. So we'll start with Versatile NPCs, and I'll put a bot here for the raffle, and we'll say the keyword is going to be versatile. I say versatile, but you know, maybe if you're British, you say versatile. And we will reset, we will start, and we will run a 2-minute timer. And then guys, if you're listening, if you're on YouTube, you missed out. If you're in Twitch right now and you want to win a copy of the Dungeon Masters Guild Versatile NPCs 2, just go ahead and enter !versatile in the chat, and your name will come in. You do have to spell it correctly. Did I misspell it?
Yep, you have to misspell
I certainly did. Okay, so since I did, I will say this over and over like 3 times. VERSITLE. Damn it. Here, I'll stop and do it. Hold on. I'm going to stop everybody.
Cancel.
The keyword now is Rob sucks. I think everyone can spell that. I think that's
Rob
pretty
sucks.
easy to spell. So go ahead. If you typed versatile, just re-enter. The keyword is now Rob sucks, because I don't know how to spell. And go ahead and re-enter that in, and then you will be entered into the drawing. So sorry about that, everybody. I know a few people entered the versatile, and they were like, it doesn't work. That's spelled wrong. Rob sucks. So we'll run that for another 1.5 minutes or so. How about you two, Leroon and Fury? Did I miss anything? Did we not cover anything? Is there something else we can say about how to build a proper NPC?
I do have a comment that
Yes.
has come up from time to time. Generally, like, it's easy to find monsters and, you know, creatures and those sort of things, kind of like Monsters of the Guild. But that
Right.
versatile NPCs, and there's a few others out there that are in the DM's Guild or whatnot, but those are harder to come by because I don't get too many good examples of each player race or player combination in NPC stat block form. So those are more rare when you
Yeah.
go to buy 'em. You can make them, but that takes forever and a day to do.
Yeah,
that,
like
but
you know who has a lot of those is Kwood.
yes,
He's got the Dungeon Masters Bundle 2, I think, is a hot seller, and the only reason I didn't put that up tonight is it has other things in it, so it's not just NPCs. It's got other stuff, but it's a pretty good. I'll show people that.
yeah, let's check that out.
Let's see, Dungeon Masters Bundle.
It's well worth it
Two.
because to have those
Cheer
to
bits.
build off of
Cheer
is
bits in the
much
stream.
Cheer
easier
Thanks for the
bits.
cheer bits.
Sure Bits, Hee Hob. Yeah, so and it's on sale for $8 right now, or $6, six and whatever, 6.67. Normally $10. So this actually has Inns and Taverns, a Tavern's Handbook, Store's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Handbook 2. But in each of these, let's see, there's a bunch of NPCs in that one. This one has 500 NPC descriptions and hundreds of NPC stats. So NPC stats in that one, yeah. So most of them actually have NPC stats. Wow, 4 out of the 5 have NPC stats, and it's super cheap, especially now until Monday. It's only $6 3/4, $6 2/3. I don't know how to do math. It's too. I'm
Totally
too,
worth it.
yeah, totally worth it. So that's another thing. All right,
You're
let's
a
see
DM,
who.
that's handy.
Let's see who won. Who won? Did anybody win? Let's draw a winner. Who is the winner? The
won?
winner is Hee Hob. All right, congrats.
Yes.
So Hee Hob, you won.
Cheer bits. Cheer bits in the stream. Thanks for the cheer bits.
Lady Shell, thanks for the cheer bits. First of all, Hee Hob, this red thumbs down right here, that means you're not a follower. Boo. Hit the follow button, but you still win anyway because we don't penalize people if they're not a. So let me write that down over here. This was versatile NPCs. Oh, I guess I didn't. Okay, so versatile is Hee Hob. So Hee Hob, what you need to do is well, first let me start the other contest and then I'll explain Hee Hob what he needs to do. Hee Hob, well, first thing you need to do is hit the follow button. I mean, come on, my God. All right, let's reset. Let's make the second contest for Monsters of the Guild. And this is a keyword monsters. MONSTRS. And we will go ahead and start that one and start the timer. So Hee Hob, all you need to do is PM me in Discord. If you are not a member of my Discord, I will give you the link right now. There's the link, and just come on in there and PM me and say, hey, I won the Versatile NPCs 2, please give it to me. And then also include your DM's Guild email, and if you don't have a DM's Guild email, then just go to DM's Guild and make an account, and then give me your email, and I'll send you that for free right after the show. And congrats to you. And so the rest of you, except Hee Hob, can enter this one. And this is for Monsters of the Guild, which is right here. And this came out in the summer, I think about May is when it came out, and we worked on it for over a year. And this has many people, James Intercasso, Jeff Stevens, Glenn Cooper, myself, Elvin Tower. The forward was done by Chris Lindsay from Wizards of the Coast. I don't know where that graphic is on here. Where the hell is it? It went away. But it's got 121 monsters in it, and it's pretty awesome. For those of you that would like to have, I always forget to tell about this. Let me show this. Why was my computer frozen now? What the fuck? I don't like it. I don't like any of it, you guys. It's frozen. It's very upsetting.
Or
Yeah,
just the webpage.
It's just a webpage that's frozen. Okay, so let me do this. For those of you that would like a taste of this for free, and also 2 extra backgrounds, Hospitaler and it's not nurse, but it's something. It's like Doctors Without Borders themed. Monsters Without Borders. There it is. This is free. This is both the PDF and the Fantasy Grounds module. You can donate money if you want. I'll put that link in the chat. You can donate money if you wish to do it, but if you don't, you don't have to. You can take it for $0, and that has 20 of the monsters in it, plus those 2 backgrounds. And actually, those 2 backgrounds are not in Monsters of the Guild. They're not part of it. So if you want those backgrounds, there's a new Paladin Oath and 2 new backgrounds, and 20 of the monsters out of Monsters of the Guild. So again, Monsters of the Guild does not include that. So you have to go get the free one if you want to get those extra backgrounds and Paladin Oath. And that's
Rob, Shad is trying to get your attention in chat about your exclamation monster, because it still pulls up the monster battle.
Oh, yep. It's conflicting.
Oh, let's see. Let's see. Thank you, Shad. Well, it did work. Everybody who typed it in did get their. It just got the extra monster. The monster battle should be turned off, by the way. Let me go turn that off. So it did work. Everybody did get entered, but let me turn off the monster thing. Channel commands, monster, disable. Stupid commands. All right, but everybody did get entered in the raffle, so let me draw a winner.
Yeah, it was plural monsters, right?
Yeah, but it's still, even if you type monster in it, it triggered it for some reason. I don't know. All right, here it is. Boffrin.
Wow.
Bam.
I've
Boffrin
never
wins again.
guessed.
So Boffrin, you know what to do. You send me a PM and I give you the thing. And you've done it before, like about 65 times. So good. So we talked about Monsters of the Guild. We talked about, let's check. DM's Guild's on fire, everybody. It's on fire. This is my sales from today only. Let's check it out. My best day was Christmas Day last year, 449. My best day since then was Thanksgiving Day, 305. But guess what? Today beat that. Today is my second best day ever on the DM's Guild. And
People
as soon as it people what?
They're hating on Boffrin.
They're hating on
They
him.
think that he's got it rigged somehow.
Today, wow. 343.
Yes.
That's huge, you guys. That's one day's sales. But what helped is that 5 everything packages were purchased today. That's expensive. And so, and just yesterday I had my first gold thing. I tweeted it out to everybody. Where is it? Coding package. And you knew that's the one that would be the first gold bestseller right there. And nothing else I've ever sold has got to gold yet. So that I was very excited about that. And everybody that's watching now and everybody that's watching on YouTube, that's all about you guys. You know, my supporters and people that buy that stuff. That's all you guys. I mean, I made it. I'll grant you that. I did put it together, but it's all you guys that made that happen. So thank you to everybody. So good. We gave away the prizes. We did the thing. Oh my god. Oh my god. Furied. I didn't highlight it green. Oh my god. Don't panic. Boom. So next week, guys, we're gonna have Miles Cantier from Savage Mojo. That's gonna be huge. For those of you that don't know who Miles Cantier from Savage Mojo is, look it up and then come by and say hi next week. And bring your questions because I'm sure he'll have answers. We don't have a plan for December 9th yet. We will make one. But for December 16th, 23rd, and 30th, we already know what we're going to do for those shows. So we're going to be going over the collaboration projects I've done in the last 3 years. We're going to be going over everything I've done personally. And then at the end, about like 3 or 4 hours after that show ends, I'm going to put the 2018 stuff up on the DM's Guild. So there'll be 2 things. There'll be the package for the year and the package for 3 years. And
you guys
then
want to go to that show.
And then New Year's Eve we're gonna do it's New Year's Eve actually, because it's the 30th, not the 31st. And so we're gonna do a year in review. And then on January 27th we're gonna do a show about Fantasy Grounds Fridays tips after 1 year, and we're gonna show all those. I'm gonna go through each of them.
When would be the 100th show? Episode 100.
Episode 100. Well, let's find out.
Be a while. Like
We're about halfway there.
Wait.
We had to skip a few weeks, so
let me just do this. Hold on. Let me just make a formula so I don't have to fucking count it. And then bring it all the way down. Episode 100. Should we do one a week until then? Will be December 1st of next year.
So anytime around December.
Because when we started, yeah, we were doing Sunday, Tuesday, and we were doing it twice a week. And then all of a sudden, Liverin said, you know what? No. So then in April we went to once a week, and then in June we brought Fury Dawn, who was so awesome, and then she stayed as permanent co-host after that, and then we're gonna hit show 50 on the 16th of this month. Sorry, next month, and then we will hit show 100 in December of next year. That is, if we don't skip any or whatever.
Or
Because
get canceled.
or get canceled. Yeah. How do we get canceled? The only way we get canceled is if we cancel ourselves. But we've done a lot of shows on a lot of subject, and I mean, I would like to believe that it's not possible to run out of stuff to talk about, but it might be possible. So we need people to submit their ideas, and I have had people submit ideas, and I don't want people to get discouraged, and I don't want people to be disappointed. And if you hear a no from me, I don't want you to shut down or turn it off. I want you to keep saying ideas. But I have had to tell a few people, we can't do that because reasons. And so if you submit an idea to me and I shoot it down, please don't let that discourage you. I want to talk about everything we can talk about. There's just certain things for whatever reason we can't talk about. So again, if you're submitting ideas to us and we can't do it, please don't let that mean that you think you can't submit more ideas, because we absolutely want to talk about whatever's appropriate for, all things Fantasy Grounds Talk Show.
We're also trying to expand, so we're having a little bit of Pathfinder and Savage Worlds and things like that. So there's plenty to talk about. It's not one thing or another.
We just need somebody who actually knows those other systems besides 5e, because that's
right.
all
Well,
we play is 5e.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm going to be I better not be wrong about this, but I think it's Boffrin. Boffrin was pretty much he's the Savage Worlds guy, right?
He's everything but 5e.
Yeah, okay. But I think he was the one that was pretty much responsible for us getting.
Oh yeah.
He hooked me up with Miles, and because I didn't know Miles had been on Doug and Dave's show, Fantasy Grounds Friday, about a couple months ago, but I don't know him, and so he hooked us up, and I talked to him, and I said, hey, did you want to come on the show? And he said, oh yeah, I'd love to. So that's basically Boffrin's doing. And
he's gonna bring a couple friends too, I think.
He's gonna bring some people from the team. Yeah, the Crikey Mojo or whatever his name is. I don't remember the guy's name is, but yeah, they're gonna be here. Savage Cujo, I don't remember his name, but you guys, most of you guys that know me, that watch my channel or know me from Fantasy Grounds, Smiteworks Twitter account or Facebook or whatever, if you know me, I'm completely a 5e guy, and that's all I care about is 5e. But I'm down with like getting more information about other stuff, and I played a little Pathfinder 2 playtest because of Gwydion. He forced me into it, twist my arm. It was fun, and so I'm totally, I'm 5e pro, but I'm not anti other rule sets. That doesn't mean I don't want to talk about other things. If it's even tangentially related to Fantasy Grounds, I want to talk about it. So if you guys know other guests that might be good for the show, that are willing to come on, there's been one or two so far that actually have refused. I think I've talked about one in particular a few times. No names can help.
Need to mention.
But yeah, so if there's anybody you think would be good for the show, or that could have a lot of AMA potential, ask me anything. Come on. Like, I'm sure Miles is going to get a ton of questions about Savage Mojo.
Drake asked what the prepared slots do on the ability spell tab for NPC.
What do say that again? What do the prepared say that again?
What do the prepared slots do on the on the ability spell?
Oh, good question. Okay, so that is a good question. So you're here with your NPC and the spells, yeah, and you have let's open them up. And you're looking at this NPC. You're the DM, and you're like, okay, what does this guy have? What does this guy have? He's got, oh my god, he's got 8 spells, 1 per day, 1 per day, 3 per day. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, they changed it. It's not there anymore. Okay, that's because they made this. So you know how it used to say, invisibility, 2 slots, and you'd have to be, oh my God, I have to keep track of it in my head. So now you don't have to do that anymore. You come down here, you're running this monster, and you go down here to spell slots, wherever the hell it was. Well, that's a long way down there. Oh, here it is. So then when you cast a spell, let's say I cast a first level spell, I come over here and I change it to 3, and now I don't have to think about it. And let's say I cast 3 more first level spells throughout the next 3 rounds, and now I put a 0. Now he doesn't have any first level spells anymore. So that's just kind of a counter to keep track of how much you've spent, and Fantasy Grounds automatically populates the spells it has at the beginning, and then as you go through and use them, you can just tick them off. 2, 1, 0. Oh, this guy's out of spells. So that's what that's for.
That's fairly recent. I mean, it's not new, but it's kind of
Yeah, I would say that's less than 4 months, 5, maybe 6 months ago, but it's pretty new, and it wasn't always there. And the spells and the stat blocks in the combat tracker, they used to say Thunderwave first level 2 slots, and so they made it. Now they made it where DMs can actually, and that was something somebody put on the wish list. They're like, hey, can't we get something to keep track of the? And they were like, oh yeah, and they put it in. That's how you do it.
So Diablo Bob saying, can we get Celestian or Shad or Zach to come on and talk about Lewis script? We kind of covered that, but the problem is we'd have to get like someone like John or Carl Pinder or somebody like that to really crack that nut. We kind of touched on it, but we never really got into that programming side.
Here's the people that you want to have on the show really bad that you're never going to see until Unity comes out, and probably 1 or 2 months after Unity comes out when they stop panicking. Doug, John, Carl, Ryan, Jen, nobody that works at Smiteworks except me is going to come on the show because I'm not a programmer. I'm not doing that. But all those guys have literally every 15-minute block of their day is taken, and so they'd love to share. I'm sure they'd love to do, and even like you don't see John on Fantasy Grounds Fridays, and you're going to see Jen one time, you're going to see Ryan one time, and Doug takes an hour a week out to be there specifically, but then you never really see him other than that. So I'm sure these guys want to come on, but they really don't have much to say until Unity's out, because that's what they got their heads down with that. And so then I'm sure they'll want to talk, and we can probably get John on, and Leroon and I went to dinner with John on August 31st, and he's really nice and he's fun to talk to, but he's super busy, so you're not gonna see him until Unity comes out.
I think he told us that.
Yeah, I think I suggested it, and he confirmed my theory. I said, "Oh yeah," because I think we said at dinner, I think, "Oh, be great to get you on the show," and he said, like we'll see you in a year, or whatever it was. Yep. He didn't give a time frame, obviously, but because they really did. I mean, Doug even said out loud in public that he thought the internal alpha test was going to be ready August 31st, and then he was kicking himself in the face because he hates to disappoint people, but stuff's got to be right. He's not going to put out a piece of crap. He's not going to show anything to anybody until it works. And they've got a lot of stuff that they're and the good news / bad news, the bittersweetness of it all, is that they have to make the backwards or the DLC backwards compatible, and every week there's like 5 new products. And so it's like they're trying to keep their head above water, just keeping up with it, So
I don't envy that.
No, but it's gonna be super awesome when they do it. All right. So we gave away the prizes. We showed the thing. We did the show. That's it. Is there anything else? What do we do? Is that it?
Tell everybody good night.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe I'm gonna put up the slides and tell everybody good night. So we will of course be back here Sunday with Miles Cantier, I mean.
Savage Worlds.
Savage Mojo. And I will be here tomorrow working on modules, module creation Monday. Wednesday, for those of you that are so inclined, we have not canceled it yet. We have had enough people every week to play. And if you yourself, you, the person that answers to you, wants to play 5e pickup games, come on by. There's a slide right there, 6 p.m. on Wednesdays. All you got to do is show up, be a little bit early, and you can get in the game. And if you don't want to play but you want to screw around, you can use your chat XP to affect the party with fumbles and criticals and advantage and disadvantage and magic items and monsters and traps, and I mean, it goes on and on and on. And then Friday, of course, is Waterdeep, and I believe it'll be the last session, and then the players should wrap that up and then move on to Dungeon of the Mad Mage the next session after that. So Friday game's gonna heat up, and then Saturday is roundtable. Come on by and talk about anything you want and win prizes, and that's how you do it. That's how it's done, everybody. So if there are no final questions, any final words from either of you two?
No, I'm pretty good. Thanks, Rob.
All right. Well, in that case, we will go ahead and end the show. I appreciate everybody coming by. We'll see y'all back here tomorrow, hopefully. And until then, good gaming, everyone.
Cheer bits. Cheer bits in the stream. Thanks for the cheer bits.
Cheer bits!